What do I mean by my best mistake? What do you do when you want to quit watercolours and you want to give up? You don't give up, you go back to basics, and this is what I'm here to do for you today. Welcome to Blue Mark by SW. I'm Shanaz, and we're just going to paint some very easy, simple flowers, and you can pop it into a frame like this at the end. We're going to use the really easy dot technique. Choose 2 to 3 colours, not too many, and you're just going to use this technique. Pop your dots down, rinse your brush, and then with your brush, just create your petals like this. We're going to work in stages of 3, so don't do more than 3 dots to start off with, and then just create your petals like this. And we're just going to repeat that. Rinse your brush, get the dots, get your paint, place your 3 dots, rinse your brush, and then with clean water only, create the petals like this again. Really, really easy. You'll understand why we're following 3 dots only in a moment. And just do a few small ones. We're going to fill the page, by the way. I've got Archer's paper. I'm actually using the back of Archer's paper. I'll explain in a moment. And I'm just using a Winsor & Newton small brush. And these are some Shinhan PWC paints. And I'm using Rose Madder. And I'm using it very lightly and quite watery. This particular size is about A4 size. I'll leave the exact dimensions and everything in the description box. But if you just want to do a few and not fill a whole page, that's fine. You can just do a few. But the reason why I wanted to paint this is because this particular paper is Archer's paper. On the other side of this paper, I was planning a brilliant tutorial for you. I had drawn everything out. It was a flower and some leaves, and it was going great, and then I just completely messed it up, and I was really annoyed with myself, and I thought, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm going to stop. And then I just thought, do you know what, this is exactly what beginners feel like, and it's exactly what I felt like a couple of years back when I first started, and I really did want to give up. But this particular picture was what made me change my mind, and it was the end result that made me change my mind. And it reminded me, not everything is going to go perfectly well each time. It's great when it does, but it's actually more interesting and gives you more motivation, I feel, if it is something that isn't going right, but you're determined to carry on with it anyway. So my question to you at the beginning was, how do you carry on if you're painting something and it's not going the way you want? Do you just give up and let it go, even though you actually love painting and you love watercolours, or whatever medium you use, if you like pencil crayons, acrylics, oils? And I just felt like I really like painting with watercolours. There's just something about it. There's just something about holding the brush and just painting and just forgetting about whatever is going on in your life for just a few moments. I have sped this bit up because we are repeating exactly the same process. So how do you pick yourself up and carry on if something hasn't been going your way? Let me know in the comments. So this is the picture I did a few years ago, and all we're going to do now is just with a clean brush with just a tiny bit of water, we're just going to soften the edges a little bit. I don't want any sort of harsh lines to start off with, no crisp lines, just soften. Some of it has actually started to dry quite a bit more. If that happens, you can get a little bit more water into your brush. It's quite warm here. I'm in the UK, so it's for the time of year and for the location of being in this part of the world, it's actually quite warm. So just use a little bit of water. If you are in a hot country, lucky you, and just use a bit more water. And just carry on softening the edges. When you've done that, get your second colour, and then we're going to do the 3 dots again, but in between the petals we have just painted, like this. And you don't have to be perfect. This is the whole point of watercolour painting, and this particular painting is so that you don't have to be perfect. You can just paint without thinking too much about it. Do the same thing with each one. Drop in your second colour, and you can do it with all of them, or you can just do it with a few of them. Entirely up to you. I have sped this bit up again as well, because it is exactly the same process, just with a second colour, and then also soften the edges as well. So when you've softened the edges, get a third colour, or get the same colour that you started off with and just use it a bit more intensely, and do the same thing. Drop in your 3 dots. Doesn't matter where you put them this time. What you're going to do is still blend them out to create your petals, but a bit smaller than the first and the second petal. I hope this is making sense. I hope it's not too confusing, but you've got the visual aspect, which will probably make it a bit easier. Sometimes it's easier to show you than try and explain it, and hopefully you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so that you can see exactly what I'm doing, and then I'll zoom back out in a second. Can you see how each flower is sort of layering up? And what you need to keep in mind is the centre of the flower. No matter what you do, design it how you would like to design it, or follow it like this. But the important bit is the centre of the flower, because when we come to add the middle part, the pollen or the centre of it, that's what will complete the flower. I have sped up the next few bits up because I didn't want to cut them out for you, because you won't be able to see the exact process. And I just wanted to check in with you. Do you mind tutorials like this being sped up, or would you prefer everything being at real time? As an afterthought for this particular one, I did decide to pop in some bigger flowers around the smaller flowers. So you can do this if it is something you want to do and the paper you've got is A4. If it's a smaller piece of paper that you've got, or you don't want to do these bits, that's absolutely fine, no problem at all. You don't have to do those, but I've kept them in for you just so that you can see exactly how this will look at the end. I've used a slightly bigger brush, a size 8 brush, and exactly the same process. I'm just going to use clean water to create the petals for each dot that I've put down. Oh yeah, that's why I left this in as well. So a brush hair strand has come off, and I've used the smaller brush to remove it. Does that ever happen to you? They're good quality brushes as well. I think this is going to happen with anyone. When you've completed this first layer, let everything properly dry. It shouldn't take too long. Like I said earlier, I'm in the UK, so the temperature is quite warm, and then come back to it and it should hopefully look something like this. Spray your palette again, reactivate your paints if you need to. I definitely need to. And then we're just going to basically repeat what we've just done, but using a bit more pigment in our brushes and using slightly less water. So just like this. The other thing I like about watercolours, doing something like this as well, is you don't have to do it all in one go. I have got some 5-minute flowers, 5-minute leaves, if you did want a quick result, and I will leave you those in the description box. But sometimes if you put a bit more time and effort into something, or just do something nice and slowly, nice and relaxing, then as you build the layers up, you do get a different effect, a different look, and maybe a bit more of a sense of accomplishment, a sense of achievement. Do you prefer quick sort of 5, 10, 15-minute tutorials, or are you happy with slightly longer tutorials like this? When you've done those, when you've painted those, it's entirely up to you if you want to add a couple more in just to fill a bit more of the white space. I decided to add a couple more in just to make it look a bit more fuller. Again, entirely up to you how you want your composition to look. And then when you've finished all your little bits and you're happy with everything, leave it to dry, come back to it, spray your palette again just to activate the particular colours you want. I'm using Payne's Grey, and this is going to be for the centre of the flower. Still keep a tiny bit of the white in the centre, but do you see how adding Payne's Grey or any dark colour, it just finishes the petals off and it just brings the whole picture together? Do you see that, or is it just me? This bit is optional, and I added in a few little leaves just to try and add to the composition of the final painting. I kind of wish I hadn't put them in, and I've left them in anyway for now, and I just did it to the outer petals, to the outside of the flowers. I didn't do it with all of them. I think I would do this again, and I think I would actually do the bigger flowers. I think they've turned out better than the smaller flowers. I still like the whole thing as a whole, and I think once it's in a frame, which you'll see in the next shot, once I've taken the masking tape off, I think it does look really good in a frame, and it would look good on a wall or a mantelpiece, something like that, just to brighten up a room. I hope you enjoyed this particular tutorial. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.